Hi, everybody. Welcome to GameHounds. I just found out there was a new feature on StreamYard that will allow me to put in an intro video from now on. Fancy. How are you, Nick?
I have been very good.
Good. Do we have an update on AC Race Guitar? Because
Yeah,
I know
there've been
Pickguard.
there've been a bunch of updates that he's been putting in the
Oh, can you post those? Let's take a look at them when we have a chance. If you're not familiar with us, we're GameHounds, and I bought 2 weeks ago. I guess it was 2 weeks ago today. But our community manager AC Wraith all the parts to make his dream guitar. So I have yet to see it officially. And the whole last thing that he needed to get was the pick guard, which I believe was green. So it was going to be a green and black guitar, which is kind of cool. I tried to convince him to get the pink one, but he wouldn't do it. How is everyone? Do you guys have a good week? I've been busy. I was up in Sacramento for 2 days this week on Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm really glad that I went this week and not last week, because last week sucked. Oh my God, the heat. The heat was so bad. It was no joke. I mean, I've said before, oh, it's so hot here. No, that's the hottest it has ever been. So in the Bay Area, it was prolonged and it was nasty. But surprisingly enough, my work, even though it was like 90, 97 degrees in San Francisco, which at that point, like the pavement starts to melt because we're not made for that kind of heat. Inside my office was actually quite cold because nobody was coming into the office, so nobody would open a window. As long as nobody opened a window, the building stayed cold. But as soon as one of my bosses, there's one boss, I love him to death, but as soon as he walks in, the first thing he does is open a window, and it's like, you do realize that if that makes everything hot, you just let in all of the hot air. So
wait, who opened the window?
my boss. And I've
Oh,
explained to him, like, if you leave that window closed, it will actually be cooler inside because you've let out all the cold air that was stored in here
wait,
from.
wait. Did your boss open the window thinking it would get cooler?
Yeah, because it's hot out. It's hot, so he opens up a window.
It's hot outside.
Just because he's a boss doesn't mean he understands things.
How many people is this person in charge of? What? It's
He's a very smart man. He's a very smart man in many ways. Not everybody is smart in the same way. Let's just say that.
Oh God, it's
I'll
90
probably get
it's 90 degrees outside. Can you believe how hot it is? Someone open a window.
it's 70 degrees inside. It's 90 degrees outside, so let's open a window. Yeah, that's my boss. And I just look at it and I want to go, I should say something, but
just walk over and close it. Just like crunk, and be
no.
like,
No, by that point, it's already 90 degrees inside. So now if you close it, then it is going to be hotter inside. But fortunately,
no,
I'm
because the
not
AC
on
is
the same.
running inside, right? So it will still
No AC.
get
We don't have
cooler.
AC. Are you kidding? San Francisco, we don't have AC.
Oh.
We're in an old Victorian. We don't.
Oh.
Second floor Victorian in Jackson Square. We don't have air conditioning. The air conditioning is you turn off the heat overnight, and whatever temperature it is inside the building is what the temperature is in the morning.
You just put up some like foil on the windows to try to keep the sun out and
Yep.
hope that
You pull the
it's cool.
shades. That's right. You pull the shades, and we do have an air conditioner. One year it got so hot upstairs because of people opening windows.
It's a disease.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, they've grown up with air conditioning. They don't understand. They don't know what it's like to, what you have to do when you don't have air conditioning or you don't want to use air conditioning is you got to keep the cold air in. You air it out at night,
Yeah, no.
close up, and then
With
you hold it in as much as you
yes,
possibly can.
no. Growing up without AC, No, wait. Oh, you said they grew up with
They
AC.
grew up with AC.
Okay, yeah. So they don't know that. Yeah, when you don't have AC, you open all the windows at night and then you close them all in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, it's like we were talking about before. You're dealing with peninsula people. These people. Oh, AC. How I can't live without AC. What is this? What are you talking about?
Exactly. They're first off, they're not from the peninsula. They're from the San Francisco. One of them was from
That counts.
Missouri. One
Also,
two
that
of them were from
counts.
San
That
Francisco, but
counts.
they were very privileged San
That
Francisco.
counts doubly so because San Francisco never gets hot.
Never gets hot.
No.
Yeah.
So when heat comes, they're like, what is that? Why is my skin crying?
Why is my skin crying? That's what sweating is. Skin.
Yes.
Your skin is crying. Yeah,
That's what San Francisco people think of sweating.
it's true. So anyway, what were we talking about before that? Oh, it was crazy hot. What?
I don't remember.
No, it was. I just was saying it was super crazy hot last week, and we are not made for that.
Mm,
But finally, it cooled off. It's supposed
yes.
to get some rain over next week. It should be nice.
Okay.
What else have you got going? And I was in Sacramento. I wasn't there last week. I was this week. It was only 86 degrees. It was gorgeous.
Man, and Sacramento is supposed to be the hot place.
Yeah, Sacramento. Well, Sacramento was something like 112 last week.
Oh,
There's no way you could have paid me enough. I would have quit my job if they said go to Sacramento. I'd have been like, nope, sorry. Find somebody else to do your invoices because I'm not doing that.
Just do your business in the car. Never leave the car.
Yeah. Unless you can find a way for me to transport from my car into the office where there's air conditioning and then back to my car when I leave.
Find an ice cream shop with free Wi-Fi.
Ice cream shop. No, find an I just go to the movie theater. Just go to a movie theater.
Yeah, that too.
Yep. So, what else do I've got? Very little. Oh, weren't you supposed to bring up the pictures from the AC race guitar?
Oh, they weren't. They were text updates.
Oh, they weren't
not photo
photos.
updates. No, he's describing like how he's putting it together.
I need photos. I need photos, AC Wraith. I mean,
we've
got. I know you've got the pick guard because I got the notification it was delivered.
I can show you a different thing. Oh, you want to know?
Yeah.
Complaining about the heat.
Uh-huh.
Come on. Can I present and share? Can I share?
You can share
just that window. Yes, I can share that window. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can. That would be. It looks like a swimming pool.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is Rachel's parents' backyard.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's right. They're in Florida.
They're in Florida. So Hurricane
Elaine?
Okay, so Milton passed by without causing much of an issue. It was fine. Helene passed by, mostly avoided them, didn't cause much of an issue, except for the fact that the hurricane, Helene, spawned a bunch of tornadoes inland.
Okay.
And so some of those tornadoes swept through her parents' community, which, it should be noted, are hurricane proof.
Okay, but not tornado proof.
Not tornado proof.
Okay.
And so you should be able to see.
I can see it.
It's just stormy. Oh,
and then it clears.
Come on. There we go. Then has it going.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. That would be the hurricane. That would be the tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Because you could see the eye of it. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are her parents okay?
Yes, they are fine. Funny enough, her mom. Do you see that little? Oh, you can see my cursor.
Yeah.
You see that white like grill?
Yeah, that looks like a towel rack,
Yeah.
towel drying.
To the left of that is a wall with a window in it. Her
Uh-huh.
mom was sitting at that window watching this happen.
Oh my god.
They okay. A lot of other houses are not. They have a picture of a dumpster that was out front because this is a community that's like being developed. So even though their section of it is like all finished, there's a whole bunch of places elsewhere that are still under construction.
Mhm.
One of them has like a big old dumpster.
Oh, it picked up the dumpster and it tossed it.
Picks up the dumpster, toss it on someone's roof. So there's a
No!
picture. There's a picture. I don't have it on me, I think, of a dumpster sticking out of someone's roof.
Oh my god. Wow. That's insane. Her parents have had her mom has had a hell of a week, hasn't she? She's October has not been her favorite month ever. That's for damn sure.
Oh, I think I might be able to. No, where was that?
Let's see. I tried some preliminary
Anyways,
setup on the guitar. I've mentioned this was my first time doing one. My old guitar was bought. Okay, we'll cover that in just a second. Yes, Nick.
I can't find the picture of the dumpster
The
sticking out of
dumpster,
the
but
house.
I'll take your words. Dumpster got pitched onto the roof and was now sticking out of the roof.
Yes,
That's
but
insane.
the interesting part is like that happened to a house that was hurricane proofed. Um, and like we went on Google a lot. We're like, okay, what's the difference between a hurricane and a tornado? And like, how are
Big
they?
difference.
Um, and yeah, tornado just kind of gets faster winds. Um, I think because a tornado is conical and a
Mhm.
hurricane is not, the tornado like focuses all of its energy on that one point. So that one
Mhm.
point, if it hits you, does a lot more damage.
Right. Right. So AC Red says, I tried some preliminary setup on the guitar. Have I mentioned this was my first time doing one? My old guitar was bought in the days when there were music shops that did it on the cheap. It's been reasonably well behaved, and there was never a reason to learn.
Hmm.
At first, I got frustrated because the new guitar arrived with a tight truss rod back bow to the extent that I couldn't tune it. It didn't help that the tutorial I was watching said to turn the wrong way, and I couldn't figure out why I was making so little progress. Once I started turning in the opposite of the two available directions, the guitar became almost playable. Tuning default set of 9 gauge strings to E flat, which should be roughly the tension of new tens at C sharp. I found myself with some buzzing and dead frets
Hmm.
that a full setup should fix. I then set it down, having already stressed myself out for no reason.
Now,
Let's
a
see.
tutorial gives you the wrong directions. That's very unhelpful.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a USB port. There's only 2 directions, but it takes 3 tries to get it right.
Yeah, exactly. That's the rule of USB. Is
Mhm.
USB-As. USBs, yeah, USB-A versus
C's?
USB-Cs.
Yeah, yeah, A's, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so what have you played? I really haven't played much. There is a new mobile game I've been playing. I think did I mention it called Invasion? That it's all right. It's not that great. It's essentially you play an alien and you're trying to eat people. And you just run around eating people and leveling up.
Fair.
Yeah. It's all right. It's definitely a time waster. There is a certain kind of satisfaction you get. Why did I just see a dog running by outside? A certain
Was it a
satisfaction you get.
dog or a coyote?
Oh God, I hope. Actually, I don't know. But I don't see an owner passing, so I'm wondering if that was a coyote running through. Um there is a certain kind of satisfaction of eating large amounts of people really, really fast. But to be honest, it's not that great. It really is all about just zoning out and not not doing anything. The nice thing is that
That's
it's a
not a bad thing.
yeah, it's all about zoning out and just eating stuff and just doing it this over and over and over and over and over again.
What was it? Alien
Invasion.
Invasion?
And it's like a spider. You play like a spider. It does not
Oh,
do a
yeah.
really good job of explaining. I wish it did. Here, I'll just pull up a
I've
video.
I've seen videos of this and I was intrigued by it just because the spider character, like you get close and it snatches something, and
Mhm.
I feel like I've seen that in a game before, or I've seen that in nature before, like something tingly like that. It's almost like a um one of those hiding spiders that jump out of holes to grab people, but it's only grabbing with one tentacle.
Right.
Um, kind of like Flow, that
Mhm.
old PlayStation game from several
Yes.
years ago.
Yes, a lot like that. A lot like Flow. And it's alright. It's not bad, it's not great, it just is. It is what it is. I'm not I'm sort of I play it, but I'm not playing a lot of it. I just find it very, um, repetitive. And it does not do a really good job of explaining things. There's really no tutorial to speak of, except for like the initial area of this is how you eat people. And you can upgrade. You eventually upgrade to the point of where you're just an absolute beast, where you just walk into whole groups of people and just absorb them instantly. And there's always, areas that are you're going to have you'll absorb them slower than others, which sometimes can be be challenging. There will always be areas where sometimes the people fight back, and let's move along and see if we can get to a higher level. Yeah, there you go. So sometimes you'll have people that actually fight back, but you'll get upgrades with more tentacles, so you can get multiple people. You will get your area of effect where you can actually capture people, probably much larger. Your movement speed, you can upgrade that, but of course every additional rank is slightly more expensive. And there are
Mhm.
multiple different kinds of currency that you use. Some of it is meat, which comes from obviously eating humans. Um, some of it is gems. Some of it is these blue rocks. Some of it will be special event stuff that you can get that will help you. But ultimately, it's just essentially over and over and over, and you're leveling up, and I am being held, and I am getting a lots of gameplay with no ads like Raid Rush. Okay, that was the official word from the boy. The boy has said, because he's playing a lot of it. He's played a lot of it, and that's why I started playing, because I'm like, all right, that looks kind of interesting. But then I started playing it, and it's like it
I
held my
mean, it
for a good couple of hours, and now I'm
does.
kind of hit a wall where it's like it's now so prohibitively expensive to get any upgrades.
Mm,
First off, it was super hard to get any upgrades because you were so slow at the beginning. Then the more you play it, the easier it is to get those upgrades. Then you hit the next wall where the amount of upgrades, the cost of it is so high that you would end up just going essentially in circles and circles and circles and circles and circles and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And it just at a certain point, that just gets old.
I can
Um,
see that, but it
yeah,
definitely looks like it's a fun couple of hours.
yeah, it's a
There's
fun couple of hours, and like he says, you do get, a lot of gameplay for relatively little, investment, you know?
there's definitely a hypnotic quality to watching the thing move.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm hoping, and let me pull this off and see if I can get one that I can show you when it's more advanced than this. Let me see if I can get one that's more advanced. Farther along in the evolution of your alien. There's got to be more than one. Let's see, view the playlist. Here we go. Fortunately, somebody has a lot of them. Oh God, he's got 16 of them. Okay. This is way more advanced and into the future of the game. I just have to working with one screen. I should have brought up the other screen. Um, okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can go a little bit further. Come on.
Oh, it gets pincers.
Oh yeah, and it's super fast, and you just run around, and you can get multiple, and yeah, it actually this is not one's not moving very fast. You also it can spawn. You can get an upgrade where you have little helpers. You can see the little helper.
Oh, geez, yeah, he was
Uh,
booking it.
oh yeah, you can absolutely book. Yeah, see, you can just go around and just absorb stuff as fast as you possibly can. So,
What's
it's
funny is this
just
also.
very satisfying at that stage where you just walk into a whole
Oh
wave.
yeah,
Yeah, you just walk into a whole wave of people and it just absorbs everything around you instantly. It's just very kind of satisfying of just seeing it go.
this reminds me a lot of a puzzle game called Carrion.
Carrion. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, that's a cool if you want like a version of this that's more puzzle focused, but still about giant technical sludge monsters eating people.
Yeah.
Carrion
Okay.
is a very good.
Carrion, is that an iOS game as well?
No, I think it's on everything else except iOS. I just looked it up. I think it's on Game Pass. It was on Game Pass years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Carrion game.
I'm I'm gonna actually have to bring my console over here because I'm so not playing both of my consoles and it's frustrating and I'm missing them very badly. So I'm actually thinking of getting one of those Xbox, the streaming stick
Mm,
thing that they have.
you
That
might want to because I have news about that later.
Oh, really? I am
Hmm.
curious. Okay, well then I'll stop talking about. And by the way, that was called Alien Invasion. I didn't put a banner up here. I'll put a banner. Alien Invasion. Um, there you go. There's Alien Invasion. So what have you played?
Uh, I played an absolute fucking weird and awesome and like a game that just like really sits with you a long time after it's done called
Mhm,
Indica.
As in like the pot, as opposed to
No,
sativa?
no, because Indica is a Russian nun. The whole game. This is like
Okay.
this is like old Russian nun in the snow. This is oh, what's the famous black and white movie about the guy that like plays chess with death?
I don't know. How do I not know
Oh,
that? Indica.
plays chess with death. The Seventh Seal
Oh, right.
by what was it like? Not Ingrid Berg. Yeah, Ingmar
Ingmar.
Bergman. This is like one of his movies in that
It's like an Ingmar Bergman movie. Okay,
it's
I'm
like it's
in.
kind of artsy, but like also kind of very, very unoptimized. Like there's a lot of clunky stuff in the game, but it kind of fits because the whole game is just weird. But to back up a little bit, Indica is a nun at a monastery where all the other nuns are just kind of dicks. Like they're not outwardly mean to Indica, but it's clear that none of them actually like her. And so they're all just passive aggressive dicks to her. Uh, and part of that is that she hears this voice in her head that's like always trying to encourage doubt in her about God and faith. And so
Mhm.
she's kind of always having these internal monologue arguments about faith and like what is she doing?
So she's
What
having a crisis of faith, so to speak.
absolutely
Okay.
100%. Um but then she gets a letter. One of the nuns gives her a letter and says, deliver this to this other monastery that's like a long ways away. And you're not quite sure, is this just an excuse to get rid of her and they're hoping that she doesn't come back? Is it like, oh, we actually need you to deliver this? But so she leaves the monastery and goes out on this journey that is very surreal. Like there are times when you get into this like fish factory and the fish that are like coming by on conveyor belts are like 8 stories tall. Like they're just these gigantic things that pass by you.
Mhm.
um but then you meet other people like this guy whose arm is like slowly uh getting eaten by frostbite, and like all of a sudden he gets in a shootout with these other people nearby, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But he kind of becomes a traveling companion for a while, and so it's a lot of walking around, listening to the characters talk, doing a bit of light puzzle solving. Some of the puzzles are actually pretty challenging.
Mhm.
But there's one part in it, a couple times throughout the game, you get into these instances where you're having like a deep crisis of faith. And the way that it manifests those is uh if you don't press anything on the controller, your world literally like tears apart. And the voice in your head is just like, what the fuck are you doing? This is it. You know, this isn't anything. Like, everything you're doing is a lie. Like, just all the doubts and all the voices taking over and like ranting at her about how wrong she is. But if you hold one of the triggers, she starts praying and the world comes back together. And so you use
Oh,
that.
interesting. So you have to hold the world together by praying
Yeah.
on
But
occasion, because if you don't, then the world will fall apart.
but you also need it to separate in order to get to the end of the area. So you need to like break
Oh,
it apart, bring it together, break it apart, bring it together as you're
that
going through.
is such a clever mechanic.
It's really clever. Um and yeah, like optimization wise and like gameplay wise, like I said, it's definitely very clunky. But every time the characters talk, their voice acting is really good. Even if like the animations are a little clunky, even if like the transition, like the voice, the lip flaps don't really match. The
Mhm.
acting itself is really, really great. And so
Really?
whenever these characters talk, I just want to like stop and listen. And it's like, oh my God, Indica, like you're just this poor girl. I want to do it. And like the arc of the whole game is really, really interesting. Like the personal journey that she goes on, and like like all of classic Russian literature, it doesn't necessarily end in a good place, but it ends in like a different place, right? The
Mhm.
character has gone on a journey. She has changed, and it's like it. It's just really interesting, especially the way the voice kind of changes as you go along. Like, as she encounters more and more like violence, more and more horrors of the outside world, and she kind of starts getting more and more doubtful, the voice in behind her is like, hey, it's not your fault, right? Like, you're not a bad person. You carry all this guilt because this is what your bullshit religion says, but that's not the case. Like, you're an okay person. You should do these things. And so then she kind of parrots those as she's talking with this other guy who's like on his own journey that's like truly deep in faith. Like he wants to go find this artifact that will heal his frostbitten arm. So
Mhm.
like he's like on this mission from God because he's like, no, God will heal my arm. And so then he's got Indica who's like kind of pressing back against him. Do you really think this will happen? Uh, and yeah, it just overall makes for a really interesting, thoughtful game that just like it sits with you.
God, this is I'm looking at the screen. This is kinda messed up.
Oh, this so okay. I guess this is kind of spoiler, but like at a certain point in the game's only like 4 or 5 hours at most. Like it's not a long game. At certain points, you're chased by this giant dog, and then like you defeat it by running through a thing, and the dog gets its neck caught in this wheel. But
Right,
like,
in the water wheel, and so you're just watching the
yeah,
dog
but so also
spin.
this is an example. I say the game is clunky, like the voice flaps don't quite match, but
Right.
every now and then it zooms in on something like this dog head. Look at the physics of
Yeah.
that dog head.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, this
It's in
I cannot take my eyes off it, even though, because every single turn, every single rotation, it's slightly different, as it should be.
Mhm. And
It's
so
just
it's like this game where a lot of the scaffolding around it, much like the weird surreal Russia itself, is like kind of falling apart.
yeah,
But then all of a sudden there's this moment that's like, oh, this looks like it's out of a AAA game.
yeah.
Like it's really good.
Moments
And
of
then you
brilliance, punctuated with questionable decisions.
yeah.
Oh, man, that looks really cool. So what did you play this on?
I played this on PlayStation. I think it's on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, all those classics.
Mhm. Yeah, because that looks and it's only it said 4 or 5 hours long, so it's a really short game.
Yeah, I beat it over the course of 2 nights.
Oh, wow, that looks so good. Looks very much like my kinda game.
Yeah, PC, PlayStation, Xbox.
Okay. What else did you play?
What else did I play? I need to check my banners. Oh yes. This is something I played last week. I played the demo of Metaphor Refantasio.
Holy bucket, is that getting a lot of attention on
I
everywhere.
I've been really curious about it because I know that all the Persona games are different from each other. But there's
Mhm.
something about jumping into like Persona 6 or Persona 5 where I feel like, oh, maybe I should start with the earlier ones. I don't really have to, but
Not
I kind of
really.
feel like maybe I should.
Yeah.
And so this is like, hey, clean break. Here's just a new straightforward game. Um, and so I played the demo of it and I, I beat 2 dungeons and it took me like 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's Oh, that's a game that'll eat your time. I was
Yes,
playing
well, that's what Persona is. It's a game that eats your time.
I was
It's
playing a
your
demo one
time,
night.
spits it out, and then re-eats it again.
I was playing a demo one night, and it's like I'm looking, and it's like, okay, it's like 11:30. I'm
Mhm,
gonna play this. I want to beat this dungeon, and then like I'll watch some TV and then go to bed. And so I'm
mhm,
playing the game, and I'm playing the game. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's now 2:30, and I haven't finished the dungeon yet.
mhm,
It's like, where is this?
mhm.
When is this gonna end?
Welcome to Persona. Persona's exactly like that, where you're just like, "I just wanna get to the end of this so that I can go to bed and it be the sun is rising."
So I think the first thing that really stood out to me, and part of this is just it's been a while since I played like an old JRPG.
Mhm,
Uh, the overworld, the fact that you're running through this overworld, attacking enemies has they like it's just right in front of you. Uh, well, yeah, like rewind a bit. I think you were right at the beginning of the no, like we're halfway back. Okay, I think this is like in the middle of a fight. Um, yeah, just the world and like running through the world and attacking people. Oh wait, yeah, like go jump back, let's say another quarter. Yeah, like running around a world kind of it just got me as like, oh, I haven't done this for a while.
mhm. Yeah.
And the way that it works is actually pretty cool. I'm sorry, keep going back farther. Keep going back farther. No, no, like middle. Go to the middle. No, I meant like the middle of the area. Like go to an hour in. Um
I have no idea what I'm
I'm
doing. I'm just
I know
letting you run it.
I'm trying to remember where this part was in the game because I'm trying to get the video to a point where you're in a dungeon, right? I'm
Well,
look,
that
there's a
was right where I was. I was in a dungeon at the beginning where I was at that mines.
yeah, but like I think this is a boss fight of the mines. So this is like the end of the mines. But then you rewound and I was like, no, okay, wait, stay here, just
Okay. All right.
stay, whatever. Um, so the way it works is you're running through. If you see an enemy, you get a chance to like real time attack him.
Yeah.
And if the
That
enemy
sounds
is a
cool. I like
if
that.
if they're a low enough level, you can just attack them and kill them in the overworld without transitioning into the turn-based combat. If they are like more appropriate to your level, you can attack them sometimes and stun them so that, and then you initiate the battle so that when you do, you have like a turn advantage on them.
Mhm.
So when you see an enemy in the overworld, it's all about kind of positioning yourself to get behind them so that you can get 3 attacks in a row and stun them so that you go into the battle with an advantage. Because if you don't, if they attack you, then they come in with the advantage.
Right, exactly. And in Persona, I don't know if you ever played a Persona game,
Mm-mm.
there was that idea of if you attack first, then you got advantage. If you were attacked, then the attackers got advantage. But you didn't have the option of the real time thing. You always had to go as soon as you had an encounter,
Mm.
go into turn based.
Um, but once you do get in turn based, it still moves fast. This is
Right.
like some of the fastest, snappiest turn based combat I've ever seen in a game, especially once you um, know the enemy's weakness. I think a lot of the strategy comes from like fighting an enemy a first time, using a variety of elemental attacks on them to kind of figure out what the weakness
It's
is.
just like Persona. Just
Mhm.
like Persona.
And then when you fight them in subsequent times, you know X circle, X circle, X circle, boom, everyone's dead.
Right.
Um, so the things that you transform into, we get into the story, are archetypes. And the archetypes all represent different heroic archetypes, right? You've got the soldier, you've got the mage, you've got like the healer, you've got the long range. Like they're all classic heroic archetypes that these characters kind of imbue the power of this archetype, this narrative archetype, which is kind of important in order to fight. And that's important because this is a game. This is a story that like is aware that it's a story. When you start the game, you have a conversation with like this god being who says, "Oh, I see you there. Uh what is fantasy?" Like the opening beginning of the game is like this philosophical interrogation of what is fantasy? What is the importance of fantasy? Why do people like fantasy? What does fantasy represent? And they
Right.
say like, well, what is fantasy? Fantasy is um our attempts to make an ideal world. Like we create these fantasy worlds so that we can then fill them with problems that then we can solve. And like that's the
Mhm.
importance of fantasy is that they kind of give us this ability to make the world a better place. And it's like, well, you're now in this fantasy game. And because you have started playing this game, you have birthed this reality into existence. It's like, well, now what are you
Right.
going to do? You've started playing, you've birthed these characters. Are you just going to leave them to rot and die, or are you going to do something to help them? And so it's a story that's like, hey, you are playing a story, but also like you're playing a fantasy story, and that's really important. At it, early on, it asks you to input your name, like your player name. That name then appears in like an ancient text in the game that the characters use, where they're like they open the book and they see, oh, I see this heroic portrait of Nick D. It's like, wait, what the fuck? How many layers of
Oh,
like meta
there's just
reality are there?
right. There's a self-awareness that it is intentionally there's no artifice that you are playing a life. You are playing a game, and it is aware that you are playing a game of fantasy, that the gameplay actually becomes part of the narrative.
Yeah.
The game
And
itself becomes part of the narrative of the game.
and the idea of you as a player controlling these characters in this world is itself an understood part of the story. Like the story acknowledges the player's role in this world. And it's like I'm just in the beginning, so I haven't gotten very far into it. But already it's like jumping into all these high-minded ideas that make me go, "Oh god, I gotta see where this goes. I wanna see where this goes." It's so interesting.
AC Ray says Tokyo Xanadu taught me that time management relationship games don't mix with me. I play the
Mhm.
game with my nose in a walkthrough. That always leaves me with relationships not maximized. Then I quit out of disgust. And I'm exactly opposite. I play very, 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 very slowly because all I want to do is maximize relationships. I mean, that's case in point why I love Dragon Age
Yeah.
because it's all about maximizing your relationships with your different characters, different team members.
And I think games like that, you just have to be okay with missing out on something, right? You're not gonna maximize your
Yeah,
relationship with every character.
right.
But yeah,
And that
I played the demo. I would like to I know your progress in the demo can carry over to the full game. So that means I have to actually finish the demo before I buy the full game. And
yeah.
so I need to go back and finish the demo because that demo's fucking long.
And you're playing it on what?
PlayStation.
PlayStation? Okay.
Yeah. And then every now and then, every night, I have played a little bit more of Unicorn Overlord,
Mhm.
which is the game that I was playing on my handheld, emulating a Switch game, which I did buy. But it's just the it's a really cool game, and the deeper I get into it, the more the like nitty gritty tactics fun of it comes out. Like it may be one of the best tactics games I've played in a long time, maybe even this year. And I played some really good tactics games this year, just because it really lets you drill down into how you want characters to respond at any given moment.
Mhm.
So like you're doing kind of AI programming, but you're doing it with items and equipment. So like as I'm equipping a new sword, I can see, oh, this sword will give a character this ability. And then I can go and kind of configure, I want you to use this ability when there's 2 or more enemies. Or I want you to use this ability when one of your teammates is at half health. And so you go in there and you configure that for every character. And it's fun, nitty-gritty building. But
Mhm.
what's cool, the whole game is kind of structured around this like overview map. And when you play it, it kind of plays out like this real-time strategy game. What's neat about the level design is you're playing as a ousted son of a queen who, the queen was killed by a general who's evil, and you are now old enough to try to take your revenge. So you are guiding the liberation army across these continents to get rid of the evil general. The way that it's structured is you start on the continent in the middle, and as you play, you start branching off into the other continents that are off to the side. But the way the whole thing is structured is that there are choke points like all throughout these continents, these land masses, that the game then turns into battles. So I play through a little area, and then I can explore it and gather some resources. And then inevitably, I'll find a road that will lead to a choke point. Like I've explored all this area, I can't go farther unless I do this other little side quest. And I do the side quest, and it opens up a new area to explore. Then inevitably, I hit a choke point, and that opens up a new area to explore. So as I explore and as I go through the game, I'm realizing that these giant land masses that at first seem really intimidating and kind of open worldy
Mhm.
are actually just a series of levels that happen to be combined together to form a contiguous world.
Oh,
But
I
they're
see.
still but they're still all like individual levels. The way that you play through them, you're playing through them in individual levels. It's just that then once you beat that level, that area kind of becomes part of the open world. And it's just a really cool level design that helps break the game down into very, very digestible small bits, so that what I end up doing is almost every night this week I've played through a level, done a battle, explored a bit, then quit to do other stuff. And then each night, play a battle, explore a bit, put it down. Play a battle, explore a bit, put it down. And it's
I used to have a game that is like that, that you can visit and revisit as opposed to, like,
mhm.
either both Indica and, uh,
Oh, metaphor.
Metaphor is that those are commitments.
Yes.
Commitments to
Yes.
a story that you need to play all the way through, where this is just kind of like, "Oh, no, just, like, a couple of battles and then just, like, look, play a level out there and then just walk away." It becomes more like almost an iOS game.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I've been really enjoying playing it on the handheld, the Odin handheld.
Right.
Especially because like I can just put it into sleep, put it down, a lot like the Switch. I don't have to reload the game every single time.
Right.
I just put it to sleep, put it down, and then when I next pick it up, I pick it up and I'm right exactly where I was before.
Yeah, Bitter says, "That looks cool." And Nixie Ray says, "Is it just me or does Atlas run most of Nick's playtime?" Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
This week, at least, it certainly did.
this week definitely. Oh, and like, so what's crazy looking at this screen specifically, this is like kind of late game stuff where you've got all these abilities. Cause right now I have a lot of characters with 2 abilities, maybe
Uh-huh.
3. And so when I look at that and I go, oh, you can balance 6 abilities. Right now, whenever 2 teams meet, all the characters take like one action each, but I know there's equipment that will give me the ability to do 2 actions each. It's like, oh, all of a sudden a whole new world of, strategic possibilities opens up, because if you only have 1 action, you kind of want that to be, well, is it a support action? Is it an attack action? What do I want it to be? But when you've got 2 actions, all of a sudden, it's like, well, shit. Now I can do both. Now I can double down. Now I can like think about buffing my characters, because I now have that kind of room to explore. I can buff a character and then attack, and then the other character can attack. And so, like I said, real cool tactics that it's just a lot of like menu tinkering, but really fun menu tinkering.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm looking at some of these bundles that I cannot wait to find out what you have to talk about with that Xbox streaming, the Amazon Fire Stick bundle,
Oh,
because I really want.
okay. Well, we can
Really
get
wanna
into.
get so I've got nothing else. Have you got anything else other than, oh, by the way, I finished House of Usher, The Fall of the House of Usher. Wow.
Yeah, that show stays with you. That's like, oh
Wow, that
shit.
last episode and the way that ends, I did not see coming. Holy buckets, was that good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fall of the House of Usher, that last episode is an absolute barn burner. An absolute God, it is so good. God, it is so good.
Good. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact, well, I mean, I don't wanna ruin too much, but the legacy, like, despite the curse, the legacy that is left because of the curse is kind of
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about that. Like, that was made by Mike Flanagan. He's done a bunch of other stuff at Netflix, bunch of other stuff pre-Netflix.
Mhm.
Generally, anything he does, I'm interested in. Um, but like, I think that one particularly, Fall of House of Usher, is my favorite thing that he's done.
Yeah. It's stupendous. It's absolutely amazing. And if you haven't watched it, Nick was the one that suggested it to me. He suggested it a while ago. I didn't listen. We went to that Poe thing. I was like, all right, I'll watch House of Usher. Watch House of Usher. It's so good. It is so good.
It's a perfect time to watch it too.
And right, it's perfect for this month. And it's like what, 8 episodes, 9 episodes, not that many episodes.
Yeah, it's
Um,
miniseries length. I don't
right,
know the exact
right. And
details.
it's fantastic. Fantastic. So, yeah, if you've got nothing else to do or if you wanna get in the mood for the season. Mhm. Oh, yeah. Do I like it better than I like Glory? I mean, I'm saying this very serious because he's the only person I know that has seen Glory and agrees with me.
I still mean to do it. Look, Glory is still on my continue watching Netflix list.
Yeah.
Right? That's like the determiner of
Yeah.
when a show gets to the end of that continue watching, I'm like,
Glory
do I need to
Glory
continue?
suffers because it is a K-drama. If and because K-dramas are contractually obligated for advertising purposes to be a certain length.
But like
If
you
Glory
can
was
work
made
within that.
right, but,
I've seen
you know
K-dramas that move at a good clip.
yeah, maybe. This one goes at a slow clip, but kind of almost, I think, intentionally because it is supposed to be a little bit of torture porn at the beginning. So that and because I think that it in a lot of ways makes you feel like this is a long-term plan, let's just say.
Hmm, okay.
Nick misinterpreted our recommendation phrasing, which made him start on a bad note. What do you
What do you
mean?
mean phrasing? You said it was a good show. I wasn't expecting a good show, and I came
It was
away with kind of a boring show.
yeah. By the way, he says, "I began watching it a zombie genre K-drama called Happiness.
I'm
That sounds
intrigued.
very interesting. All right, so yeah, Follow the House of Usher, absolutely. It's perfect for the season. All right, so do we want to keep moving and thank you for the link. Do you want to hit the news?
Yeah.
All right. We forgot to start it. We forgot to have the intro. Oh well, let's start the news. Or hit the news. This is the GameHounds news. The news you can come to the week in gaming with Gamer 80 and Nick Nicola. And our first item is
Xbox has announced a couple things. This has kind of been a good week for Xbox. Let me find my banner. No, that's game
I'm
banner.
ready. You just talk. I'll get the banner.
Okay.
I got
you can now, well, not right now, but soon you will be able to stream games you own via, Xbox's whole online situation, not just Game Pass.
right.
So earlier this year, I talked about during the Olympics, I was playing Path of the Goddess
Mm-hmm.
on the Odin handheld because I have the Game Pass app downloaded to it. And that allowed me to stream the game from the Xbox to the handheld. And it worked really well. But I could do that because it was a Game Pass game. And for the longest time, uh, you could only do that with Game Pass games. But now Xbox has finally said, this comes after I think 4 years after they first announced that you would be able to do this. That now, if I think you still need a Game Pass Ultimate subscription, but if you have that, you can stream games that you own, not just games on Game Pass. So anything you buy off the store, you can stream.
That's
And that's kind of a huge deal, especially for your situation. That means that like you wouldn't just be limited to Game Pass games. Your whole Xbox
my
history, you
entire
could.
catalog would be accessible with a
Mhm.
relatively low entry point for me, at least. With this bundle right here, all I'd have to do is spend $70 and well, 80 bucks, $75, and I would be able to stream and I would be able to stream at Chris's house without having to go home. Like I wouldn't have to bring my box here, my Xbox here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and just I'll just throw this out there before you get to the next one. Along those same lines, Game Pass Ultimate is on sale.
Oh,
If
that's
you're aware of
good.
that. Yeah, I mean, you match that with that news. Game Pass Ultimate is now officially on sale. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's kind of a big thing. So right now there is a sale that is available on the retailer of Woot. I don't know if you remember Woot. But it's woot.com, WOOT. The offer is available via Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X, but only for a limited time until October 18th, specifically, or until their supplies run out. And you're not limited to one per customer, but 24 per customer. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so 1
so
month
you can
subscription to
stock up.
Xbox Game Ultimate is 19% off, so it's gonna be $13.79 versus $16.99, and the same discount is available for a 3-month subscription, which normally would make it $44.99, and it's only $36.49 with the discount. So if you wanna go on and buy, now is a good time to do it. Hey, I need to step away for a second. I will let you continue to talk, all right?
Okay. I've
I'll be
got more good Xbox news for
good
people.
deal. All right, keep going.
Um, so you may have heard recently that Google was ordered by a judge in the EU to open up their app store. That Epic's fight against Google went a lot better than it did against the fight against Apple. Uh, with Apple, they largely said that because Apple kind of controls everything, it's okay if they lock down their store. But Google, because it tries to be more expansive and open the store up, a lot of the things that they did to drive users to the Play Store were deemed monopolistic. So the Google Play Store now has to open itself up to third-party stores. One of which is The Xbox Store. So Sarah Bond has said that because of the EU ruling, uh, Xbox players will be able to buy and play games through the Android app, which is nice because right now there's the Game Pass app that I use to stream the games, but there's a separate Xbox app that right now gives you, hey, you can like see what your friends are doing, you can kind of look at the history. I think you can browse the shop, but you cannot, importantly, actually purchase anything. You cannot purchase stuff through the app on either iOS or Android. But now that Google has to open up the store and is no longer like charging people for that, Xbox will allow you to buy things through their app on Android. Not iOS, because iOS is still locked down, but you can do it through Android. And I'm still not entirely clear what the limitation is for Xbox because, weirdly enough, the PlayStation app does let you buy games through the app. Again, there are two separate apps for streaming and buying. So there's a remote play app that where you can stream stuff from the console to your phone. Then there's the PlayStation app, which is look at your friends, browse the shop, buy games, look at other like rewards stuff. But you can buy games on PlayStation, and you can't with Xbox, and that has always been, at least for me personally, a bit of contention because I enjoy using my phone. Maybe I'll be at work and just kind of browsing all the games that are on sale and just stocking up my cart. And it's just a fun way to spend some time. So this is cool. Anything that opens up the stores, I think, is cool. Anything that makes it easier to buy games is, I think, cool. So all around, this has been a pretty good week for Xbox. And I do believe that I had another Xbox story. I guess this is less good news for Xbox. And this is kind of from a couple weeks ago that Microsoft, the Xbox, basically put out a tweet and was like, "Hey, why are developers not developing games for Xbox? Let us know what we can do to be better." Which, on one hand, it's nice to see a platform holder reaching out to, its developers asking what it can do better. But on the other hand, it's also a little disconcerting that Xbox has to ask, what can we do better? This was definitely a bit more relevant a couple weeks ago after there was the whole story about like Black Myth Wukong wasn't coming to Xbox. Inotria, which was a Italian Souls-like game, was they were having a lot of trouble publishing on Xbox because no one was returning their emails. And overall, there's just kind of been a lot of cynical news about Xbox as a platform. Um, and so it is nice to see Microsoft trying to take steps to address that. Whether it's too late or not, it's yet to be seen. But it's kind of nice to know that they're at least trying, even though they've been trying for the past couple decades. And I don't know, it's an interesting platform. But if you have any complaints about them, this is the time because they are now listening. In addition to that, let's get into some of the like actual news. So last week we talked about how California had signed into law a law that would, oh my god, Shepard, a law that would make it more apparent that when you buy a digital product, you are not actually buying that product, you're just buying a license. So the bill was signed, law went into effect. Immediately, Steam changes its purchase process so that now when you buy a game, it pops up a window that specifically says, "Hey, you are only buying a license for this game. You do not actually own this game. This license can be revoked at any moment." And just typical legalese notice, but It's also a little disconcerting coming from Steam because, well, yes, you kind of know that you're buying a license when you're buying a digital product. I think the reason Steam got as big as it did is because it presented itself as not so much DRM free options, because Steam itself is a form of DRM, but it was a kind of DRM that was very unobtrusive. And like there's a lot of trust in Valve. A lot of Steam users have a deep, abiding trust in Valve that Valve will not just take the games away from them. And so I'd be curious what the larger Steam slash PC community thinks about this warning. This kind of uh, to show that Valve is not different from all the other storefronts, that it is the same, that you are just buying a license, you don't actually own any of this stuff. And I wonder what this would do for GOG, because GOG, if I remember correctly, is genuinely DRM free. That you're not buying a license, you are buying a copy of that game. But GOG also has a lot of like big AAA games on it. And so I don't know if GOG distinguishes between games for its DRM, or if everything on that platform is a genuinely DRM free, you buy it, you own it type of situation. Because if it is, then maybe people should think about switching to GOG as their main digital storefront, because Steam is kind of just like everyone else. Steam is EA, Steam is Ubisoft, Steam is Battle.net, Steam is you amass 1,000 games and you don't own any of them. And that's always just a little unsettling to realize that you've spent so much money on something that is on a hobby and a collection that is kind of ephemeral and doesn't really exist. Uh let's go to ah this oh wait, the change a tab. Didn't mean to change a banner. So in the spirit of the holidays, but what feels like kind of a late announcement, Sega has announced that Alien Isolation sequel is in early development. So basically, they just started on it. I would not expect to see anything from this game for the next several years. Even a game like Alien Isolation, which uh, one of the points of it is like lighting and mood. So you imagine you've got to invest a lot into the graphics, sound, especially. So it's not a cheap game, but also like it's a stealth game. So maybe we're not looking at a 4 to 5 year development time. Maybe we're just looking at a 3 to 4 year development time, since you don't quite have to deal with, it's not an open world. You don't have to deal with like weather effects or any of that bullshit. So I'm hoping that there's a relatively quick turnaround, but it's also interesting that they announced an Alien Isolation sequel now. Like, why? Why now? And I think the remap crew had a lot of interesting speculation on it, that when Alien Isolation first came out, it sold well, but it didn't sell really well. And so by the metrics of the game sales when it first came out, Sega probably was like, no, no, we don't want to invest in a sequel. But today,
Hmm.
considered a success that sell a lot less than they did back then. A lot like movies. A movie today that makes like 100 million is like, oh, this is amazing. Well, you look back 20, 30 years and a movie like that made 100 million with people like, oh, God, flopped. So the standards have been lowered a little bit. And with those lowered standards, the speculation is that, okay, we have an audience for Alien Isolation. We probably won't grow that audience. But if we make the game and we assume that it will sell just as much as the first game did, then we'll consider that a win. We considered it a loss the first time, but this time, if we can get that base run, that base hit this time, that's a win. And so on one hand, it's like, game development is really hard when you're purposely aiming for like a base hit, but also you're aiming for a base hit, and that's good. Not everything
Yeah,
has to be
that's what
home run.
that was the problem, back 20 years ago, or no, well, when did Alien Isolation come out? Like 6 or 7 years ago?
2016, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah, so, like, that would be 8 years ago. Back then, that was one of the problems with the industry is that they were in this, like, they were kind of high a little bit, that there were so many mega hits that they thought that was when a bunch of people or a bunch of companies, a bunch of media companies entered into the market because all of a sudden games were making
Oh,
a lot of money,
yeah,
a lot more
2024.
than movies. 2014, right. So they were making a lot more money than movies. So the movie companies and all these other media companies started jumping in, expecting that that would be the norm.
Yeah,
And the thing is that it wasn't the norm, and it also costs a hell of a lot of money to make these things to start off with.
yeah, this is
So,
also the era where almost every game shipped with a multiplayer mode.
yeah, which adds a tremendous amount of cost
Mhm.
to the
And
whole
none of those multiplayer modes. Oh, I will say, Uncharted multiplayer, surprisingly fun. The Last of Us multiplayer, surprisingly fun.
Mhm.
Didn't go anywhere with them.
Mass Effect multiplayer. Listen, Mass Effect multiplayer was surprisingly fun.
I'll let you have that one. That
Yeah.
um yeah, Dragon Age had multiplayer, Tomb Raider had
Oh,
multiplayer,
Dragon Age multiplayer was
BioShock
awful. Tomb Raider was
BioShock had
awful.
multiplayer.
Oh god. Yeah,
Everything did.
BioShock multiplayer was just miserable. Yeah, well, they all expected, and the thing is that we demanded it, and that wasn't really fair because they would put these out, these multiplayers, and then we'd be
I
pissed
mean,
off.
I don't know. I didn't play them. I played them
Well,
a little bit,
I
but
played every single one of them a little bit, but we were kind of pissed off. It's like, "Why didn't you make it good?" It's like, "Well, because it doesn't work for every game, guys. It just really doesn't." And it was a little bit
yes.
naive on our part as consumers to demand that.
And yeah, so I am excited that there's a new Alien Isolation coming out. I think that is awesome. Um, I'm a little sad that it took this long to get there, and I'm kind of sad that it seems like Sega is so desperate for like a hit that they're digging in the back catalog. They are they they're digging deep. That shovel has hit concrete a couple times, and they
Mhm.
just kept digging. But you know what? I said it about the PSVR 2. These companies want to make irresponsible financial decisions to my benefit. I will happily let them do that.
Please go ahead. Feel free. Continue on,
Exactly.
sirs. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that AC Wraith says, speaking of horror game anniversary, fans have brought back PT
Mm,
Dreams. So there's a link to
that's
PT and
cool.
Dreams. Fans might have the perfect game to play this spooky season. Uh, anyway, um, all right. So sorry we had to step away. I am hoping that I don't continue to be ill, but I was just quite ill.
Okay.
Just all of a sudden hit me. I just my body decided that it was not going to have any of this.
That's not good.
Session-based multiplayer shouldn't be expected of narrative solo campaigns. Exactly, and we did.
Yes.
We did demand that, and they did their best. Bless their hearts, they tried. Um, so yeah, hopefully it's a one and done. But yeah, all of a sudden I started talking and realized I need to step away right now. I'm on an antibiotic, so that might have something to do with it. We'll see.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, all right, my big news first off is a massive, massive hack occurred, or at least we were made aware of it this week. It occurred back in August, from what I have been able to glean. So, Game Freak, which is a Pokemon maker, they had a massive data breach back in August that didn't really say much of anything about it, other than they said like some stupid amount of information was 2,000 pieces of employee data were
Mm.
subject to unauthorized access by a third party. This week, we find out that it was more than just employee data that they got. They're calling this leaked data the Terra leak. It is so big. So, this company obviously works with Nintendo regarding Pokemon games. We got details on the Gen X games. Let's see, they got everything from unused Pokemon designs to the code name for the Switch 2 and numerous other things. So, first thing it was information about the Gen 10 games, which is the next mainline Pokemon game, and also that they're working on an online MMO. Now, the online MMO is reportedly
Hmm.
developed under the code name Synapse, and it's being made in collaboration with Game Freak and ILCA. They don't have much details about it other than that it is an MMO and that it is quote unquote battle focused. But some sources are also describing the game as similar to Splatoon, but they're not really nobody's really quite sure what that means, what exactly, how and in what ways it's similar to Splatoon, but
Yeah, when I think of Pokemon, I don't think of Splatoon. An MMO could work really, really well,
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
but
Uh,
how do you mix an MMO with Splatoon?
I don't know. So,
Hmm.
let's see. The also let's see the that there is another game that is being made for the Nintendo. So, the Gen 10 game was being made for the Nintendo Switch 2, which the code name for that is da 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 ounce.
Hmm.
Ounce, 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 ounce. So yeah, it's according to Link, the code name for the Nintendo Switch 2 is ounce. And if this is true, it is the earliest that we will the earliest that we are going to see these games for which will be for the Nintendo Switch 2 when the Switch 2 is expected to release, is going to be next year. Pokemon Legends
Mhm.
A to Z is the next officially announced game, which we know about. It's set to arrive in 2025. So these leaks, however, suggested that it was originally targeted to release in 2024 and winter of 2024, but got postponed. Let's see. So let's see what else was in there. Um, there was information about an upcoming anime series and a live action spin-off. Also, plot details for the next detective, or I should say, a second, because we don't know if it's going to be the last or not, Detective Pikachu film. And references to the potential live action movie codenamed Game Boy. The leak also reportedly contained source codes for DS games Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, as well
That's
as Black 2
big.
and White 2. Yep. There's also a ton of design documents, internal
Hmm.
discussions, art for abandoned Pokemon designs that potentially offer a look at the normally very secretive process of creating a Pokemon. Now there's these details and documents that show exactly kind of sort of how they're made when they're in development. Um, Game Freak and the Pokemon Company and Nintendo did not respond and have not responded about this massive breach. But trust me when I say that it is massive, and we have lots of places are combing through the data to find new revelations, and new revelations about this data are coming out all the time because there's so much stuff to go through. Um, so just to give an idea of what Game Freak what is, in addition to making games, they also own a stake in the Pokemon franchise alongside with Nintendo and Pokemon Company. So they are a partner company to both Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Uh,
Okay.
they had issued a statement on October 10th before the terabyte actually hit the social media, that they did acknowledge that the employee data was stolen, but that was about it. They didn't really say, other than saying, quote unquote, "We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience and concern this may have caused to all concerned." Anyway, bottom line, huge data breach of in a very unprecedented way for an incredibly secretive company about an incredibly secretive game, should say series of
I
games,
mean, what
an
what
secretive IP.
the hackers, what they should have done is gone after the law team to see what are these patents that they're suing Palworld over.
Yeah, that would have been
That's what I want to see leak.
that's kind of what all inquiring minds wanna know. But yeah, so this big breach. I like I said, I would imagine there's probably going to be more revelations that are coming because this is all happening in the last 24 hours. I would imagine we're gonna probably hear about more details as because it's
Yeah, has
terabytes.
people has sift through it and
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's like when Julian Assange data dropped that it took quite a while for everyone to go through what had dropped because there was just so much information there, and that's where this is. That's why it's being called the Terra leak. So, or Terra hack or whatever it is. So yeah, keep your eyes open if you care about Pokemon or the Pokemon movie, the Pokemon series, that Pokemon MMO, anything else that has to do with Pokemon. Chances are we're going to find out information, some insider information about it, and of course, ounce, 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 ounce,
that
ounce,
was oots, oots, oots,
ounce,
oots,
ounce,
oots.
ounce, ounce, ounce. That's the German version. Ounce,
Oh,
ounce,
okay, okay.
ounce.
I have other Nintendo news.
Okay.
Nintendo has announced where is it?
Oop, sorry,
A,
I got it.
a secret online
It's
test.
not so secret anymore now, is it?
Well, no,
It's secret.
we still don't know what it is. Um, Basically, Nintendo is going to have a playtest program. They're going to be testing some sort of online service, some sort of Switch online playtest. Users could have signed up for it. Those signups are long gone now. Um, it will run from October 24th to November 6th.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what they're testing. We know they're going to test something. We know a bunch of gamers signed up to be part of that test. And Nintendo has now released a statement that says, please don't tell other people what the secret test is about when you do it. And so I think we can fully expect to know exactly what was going on
Exactly.
during that secret test.
Everybody's
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
talking about it.
No one is going to keep that secret.
No, not at all.
They had a tweet that's like, note players will not be allowed to talk about the contents of the playtest. You must accept an NDA before the software can be downloaded. People are going to talk about it within 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's goes without saying. I
Mhm.
mean, just needs a single Reddit or a single Discord conversation to be, and then that's it. It's over.
Exactly. And all you got to do is just post it anonymously. No one else is going to know that you broke the NDA.
Yep.
So yeah, October 24th is when we will learn what this mysterious test is, whether it has something to do with the Switch 2. I've seen people speculate that it's going to be game streaming, similar to what Xbox was just offering, but I don't think Nintendo has the infrastructure to support that. So it'll be curious to see what it is.
Hmm. All right. So yeah, I mean, now that we've got this data breach, do you think that it's something that we could figure out from the data breach? I mean,
Maybe it depends
they've
on like
got
what's
the Gen 10 game, quote unquote, the Gen 10 game that is
well, I
coming
guess it
Synapse.
was it Game Freaks got hacked, right? It wasn't Nintendo, it was Game Freaks.
Right, Game Freak, which would only be Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. So I think all the other Nintendo mysteries we won't know about.
Right, but I'm wondering if that has anything to do with Pokemon. Just saying.
Oh, maybe it has something to do with a Pokemon MMO.
Yeah. The Synapse thing? Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. So who knows? We might actually hear something about this Pokemon MMO for next year.
Yeah. We get 2 weeks away.
Yep. Okay, my next item is oops, sorry. Let's see. Oh, and full disclosure, dating somebody who worked on The Last Tomb Raider and works at Crystal Dynamics. Absolutely none of the information that I am sharing with you was acquired through him. This is 100% coming from other news sources that you can look up online yourself. That being
I
said,
mean, I think I had this news story too.
yeah,
I forgot
Tomb
I
Raider
didn't put a thing
the
on it.
Tomb Raider trilogy remaster, it was revealed that it is going to be the Tomb Raider trilogy
Yeah.
is going remaster of it is going to be coming out February 14th, 2025.
Well, importantly, this is the second remaster trilogy
Yes.
because the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 came out like a month ago, 2 months
Right,
ago,
right.
relatively soon.
Yeah, and it's Aspire that is doing it, not Crystal Dynamics.
Hmm.
And yeah, Crystal
Yes.
Dynamics is hiring for, and this is all something you can find online, hiring for the new Tomb Raider. That is absolutely being worked on right now. I have no idea, no information about that at all. So this new Tomb Raider trilogy remaster, they're remastering the fourth, fifth, and sixth games of the series, which would be The Last Revelation, Chronicles, and The Angel of Darkness.
Yep.
So,
Which, and I think that brings them up to the modern era
mhm,
because I think the game after Angel of Darkness was the reboot. Um, the reboot that at this point could be rebooted again.
probably.
Um, but yeah, so you've got the trilogy remastered one, you've got this trilogy remaster 2 coming out, and then there's the reboot that actually has its own trilogy bundle. So when this comes out in February, there will be 3 bundles where you could get all of the Tomb Raider games, which
Mhm.
is kind of cool.
Oh, AC Ray says the Game Freak has released a statement, so that is new. Um, yeah, it is kind of cool. The that it's kind of nice because that means that if you could get these two remasters and be playing all the way up to whatever this new Tomb Raider game that's coming out is going to be from Crystal Dynamics, which is probably quite some time away
Yeah.
because they only started hiring for it. And I was seeing news articles about that like in February. So
Okay, I think
got some
isn't Amazon and Embracer, aren't they still working on that? I thought Embracer was somehow involved.
well, Bracer owns Crystal Dynamics.
Oh, okay,
Bracer
that would
owns Tomb Raider.
that would explain why they're involved.
Yeah,
But then
they're
and I
very
think they had partnered with Amazon.
I believe it was also partnered with Amazon for that as well. There's also, a TV series from Amazon that is
Oh,
on
there was a an animated Tomb Raider thing that came out on Netflix like just this week.
Yes, yes, there is, but there's also a TV series that is coming, and that is going to be helmed by, the creator of Fleabag and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Phoebe
Oh,
Waller-Bridge.
okay. I'm in,
Okay, I know, interesting choice, huh?
I'm intrigued by that.
Yes.
She she was one of the few good parts of Dial of Destiny.
Yep.
Dial of Destiny generally is like,
Yeah.
but
Phoebe
like
Waller-Bridge,
she was a
very
fun part.
yeah, and Fleabag, of course, multiple Emmys, BAFTAs. What was that? Did you just blow into the you just blew into the I wasn't looking. Yeah, it was like a
I don't know. I was just chewing on my lip.
oh, okay. So yeah, that got approved back in May. So it's been some time that we've known that that was coming, but like I said, it's gonna be quite some time before you hear hide or hair
Mm.
of either it or the new game from Crystal. So
Hopefully this works out for her. I think she's the only showrunner because last I remember, I think she was working on the Mr. and Mrs. Smith Amazon show, but kind of got pushed out by something Glover, not Danny Glover, Donald Glover.
Donald Glover,
He's
yeah,
the
that's
guy from
a
Community.
Childish Gambino.
Yes, yes, yeah. Like they kind of creative differences, and she kind of got pushed out. But so hopefully this one, she's the sole showrunner. So
Yep.
it's hers.
Yeah, there's the information on the new Tomb Raider series for Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Hey, you know what? Uh, Amazon, like quickly working up a solid game adaptation. Netflix is like, hey, we're gonna make a lot of game animated stuff, which is gonna be like kind of like, look, there's like a Dragon's Dogma anime. Do I really want to watch it? Do I care? You got the Tomb Raider show,
Mhm.
whatever. You got the Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which was good, but also animated. You've got Arcane, which is great, but also animated. Like
Right.
all
Don't get me
animated
wrong, they're
adaptations.
really good animations. They're really good animations. You got Castlevania animation, which is fantastic.
I specifically didn't mention Castlevania because Castlevania is too good to be mentioned with all those other ones.
Okay, good point.
Well, no, that's not fair. Arcane was also great,
Yeah,
but my point is that it's
and they
less.
didn't they
I
also have
think it's
a
less
Cyberpunk?
money.
They did the Cyberpunk animation
Yeah,
series,
yeah,
which
Edge
was
Runners.
it's also yeah, Edge Runner.
But
That's a fantastic series, dude. I
my
don't know why you're
my point is just that Netflix is willing to invest in game adaptations when they're cheap, when they're
yes.
animated. They
Right,
don't want to invest in live action.
right.
But it seems like Amazon is where Netflix was 10 years ago,
Mhm.
but the quality with
Right.
Fallout and there was a trailer for the new Yakuza show, which was kind of vibes based more than plot based, but it
Mhm.
looked like a cool crime show. So hopefully the streak continues.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting development. And it's like Tomb Raider's always sort of been there, but it's always been kind of a low thump in the background. There's other games that are getting way more headlines, but it just keeps kind of,
I
plugging along. And
I
then
think
now it's starting to like gear up because I think Embracer, because of whatever happened to Embracer, that we still don't really know why, but we think it was the Saudis kind
no,
of
we know it was the
over.
Saudis.
Okay, yeah. The Saudis dicked him over, and now they're having to make they're having to optimize. And one of the things that they need to optimize is this very big, very expensive IP that they purchased, Tomb Raider, and make a lot of money from it. And so they're just at this point churning, churning, churning. And the fact that they are partnering with Amazon is kind of cool because Amazon's got the kind of pocket. Amazon needs the catalog. Embracer needs the money to be able to put out stuff or needs somebody to put out Tomb Raider stuff so that they can get money back on this investment that they made. So it's kind of a match that's really well
Yeah.
made for each other.
I think it also really helps that all three of those rebooted Tomb Raider games were well received. So it's not like the series had this giant misstep and then went quiet.
No,
It completed the trilogy. It kind of and then went on hiatus, but it like went out on a positive note.
right.
And more importantly, like there hasn't been a lot of Tomb Raider stuff in the past
We're not
since
burned
that
out on
first game came out. Yeah, they've let it rest so that when there's a new one that comes out, it actually feels like a bigger event because we haven't been inundated with like, yeah, here's another one. Oh, that didn't work. Here it is again. Oh, that didn't work. Here it is again. Oh, that didn't work.
Halo. What's another one that would be just like, oh, Pokemon?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
every other week, there's a new fucking Pokemon game. Nothing
yeah,
personal. I'm sure a lot of them are great, but
yeah. Just here's an iteration of a game that you liked. Oh, it didn't hit. It didn't sell well. Okay,
here's another one.
here's
Here's
another one.
Star
It's
Wars.
like
Star Wars is another perfect example of that. It's like every time you turn around, there's a new Star Wars game, and none of them are all very good.
yeah.
And they're anywhere from like bad to meh. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening there.
AC Ray says the animation is likely only cheaper than live action because of special effects. Tomb Raider's more realistic setting might be able to get away with less to make live action worth it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Filming on location is generally pretty expensive, which is why a lot of studios prefer using the green screens. Using the green screen for outdoors would probably require a lot of CG artists, which requires a lot of money.
So,
Um,
I mean, if you want me to
I don't know.
spill some background beans that I'm probably not supposed to know about,
Always.
and this has nothing to do with Crystal whatsoever. This is a very dear friend of mine who makes very, 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 very big machines, very big computers, racks to run virtual reality stuff,
Hmm.
like big ones. And he is one of the things that I have heard that he may or may not be working on is a method of not doing a green screen, actually
Hmm.
having a high definition video screen surrounding or behind and beside
Oh, like
surrounding the actors.
the volume.
Right. So that they're acting behind that screen and that the screen can be changed dynamically while they are acting.
Hmm.
So that they get a genuine organic. I mean, that's one of the downsides of acting in front of a green screen is that you have to kind of fake an organic reaction to stuff as opposed to just having that organic reaction because they can see where we are. Like it
Yeah. Yeah.
feels like you're on day. It's the reason why you do on location is because it feels right. It feels good. If you can simulate that location and make it believable and not be a green screen and get the same reaction from your actors, it's like the best of both worlds. You get the on location effect, but you do it with the cost of a green screen.
Yeah. And I've seen some downsides of that, at least the volume, which
It's not that easy. It's not that unique. It's not that unique.
um
But it is an interesting idea for technology.
yes, and like from what I've seen of the shows that have used it, some can use it well, some also don't use it well. Um I think I saw a video that was comparing like season 1 of The Mandalorian that used the volume a lot, which is one of those big, you know, 360-degree LCD screens
Right.
that simulate a green screen.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Mandalorian did it well. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show did it a little poorly because there's a lot of scenes of people standing outside, and you can see like, oh, in that spot in the background, all of a sudden it looks like, oh yeah, no one's walking past that line,
Mhm.
right? People are walking, but they're like, there's clearly a line there that no one is crossing. Like, I think that's where the screen is.
Mhm.
And it's just one of those things that it's a tool. You can
Yeah.
use it poorly, you can use it well, but it's a
So
tool that will make shooting a
it's
little
not a
easier.
unique idea. It's just that getting doing it super well so it is completely seamless as opposed to
Yeah.
having background and then having adjunct screens beside it.
I wonder how much did the Uncharted movie cost? Okay, Uncharted was only 120 million.
That's not bad.
No, that's like
For a movie.
that's in today's money, that's like a mid-budget movie.
By the way, speaking of movies, this is totally unrelated. Have you seen the Joker movie yet?
Fuck no.
Why not?
I didn't even see the first one.
I didn't see the first one. I'm
I didn't
curious
care about
only
the first one,
because
so I didn't see it.
the
Based on everything
trailers
you
looked
said,
amazing, and then it comes out and everybody's like, "It is so not good," and I'm curious to see how could it be something with all the right parts, absolutely everything for it that makes sense that it would be good, and it's not.
because based on all the reviews that I've seen and heard, it explicitly goes out of its way to say, "Oh, you came for reason X, you came for Joker, you came for Lady Gaga, you came for musicals, you came for cathartic violence, you came for, character drama, what did you come to this movie for? Fuck you, we're not gonna give it to you."
Oh, well then
Every single one of those things, it like says, no, we're not actually musical. Lady Gaga's barely in it. There is no real cathartic violence. Uh, there is, it's mainly just a boring courtroom drama for 75% of its runtime. It's not colorful. Like, there are no big musical numbers. If you liked Arthur Fleck, the character from the first movie, this one completely fucks him over in a way that will leave you just depressed. Like, in a way, you almost have to respect a movie that was specifically made to piss off everyone. Everyone. Fans don't like it. Non-fans don't like it. It's like
Wow.
holy
Wasn't there
shit.
something special about this that the director had it written into his contract that nobody could tell him what to do? Something like that?
He had final cut
Uh-huh.
over the movie, and
Uh-huh.
also there were no test screenings. He had it specifically
Why?
mandated.
What? Does he want to fail? Does he want to be bad?
I don't know. From all accounts, though, this is like Warner Brothers basically said, Todd Phillips, the director, you made Joker for $60 million and it grossed $1 billion. Here's a blank check. And he took that blank check and he spent it. Because I think the sequel cost like 200 million, over 200 million to make. And like he had complete creative freedom to do whatever he wanted. And
And
he
he
was
and he
like, I
right.
don't really want this.
Does he not like he just want to go and like have a completely different career, I
The
guess.
best description I've seen of like what was Todd Phillips thinking? Some people just want to watch the world burn. The
Everybody's
description of
curious to see his
Joker.
next movie, that's for sure.
Yeah. What was I also gonna say?
Anyway,
Oh
we
yeah.
were
No, I think it's funny between Megalopolis, Joker, and Horizon, Kevin Costner's Western that came out earlier this year that was supposed to be like a 4-movie series and flopped so hard. They're probably not even going to put out the second one. This is like
Mhm.
the year of rich white guys
Big
making their
yeah,
passion projects and just getting hardcore rejected.
yeah. It is the year of poor life choices.
Like, look, Megalopolis may have flopped, but did it flop like Joker 2? I've seen
Yeah,
people
that's a good
comparing it.
question. This year's Razzies is going to be very interesting. It's probably gonna be more interesting than the Oscars.
I do believe that Joker has actually grossed less than Morbius and Madam Web.
Wow. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
anyway.
mind-boggling.
I heard
Anyways, yeah.
that the second week was the biggest drop off between a first week and a second week in like, it's a record for
Yeah,
any movie.
it's not the number one because I by coincidence there's a box office guide newsletter that I subscribe to, and before the podcast I was just reading about Joker. Um, Definitely like one of the highest. I think it's like the 5th highest of all time, but it's the highest for like what a movie that was supposed to be a big deal. Like I think there was a
Like a
One
triple A
Piece.
movie.
There was a One Piece animated movie that came out, did a lot day week 1, then
Yeah,
crashed week 2 because it's a niche audience. But this is like supposed to be a big deal movie, and in terms of that, it is like the highest.
yeah. Definitely for a blockbuster movie.
Oh yeah, I think. Okay, let me. Can I find? Deleted. Where's my trash? Middle Sand, Terrifier. Yeah, Terrifier 3, which also apparently opened really well. Which is funny. The
33% tomato meter, 32% popcorn meter. Wow.
like Terrifier 3, the hard R gore fest, that happens to involve an evil clown.
Oh, no, pass, pass, pass.
It's just funny that there's 2 clown movies.
There's the Joker 2 Folie à Deux review. No spoilers here.
Okay, so it's a bigger second weekend drop than Morbius, The Marvels, and Batman v Superman. It's the fifth biggest drop ever for a movie that was released onto 2,000 or more screens, behind Replicas, which I believe was like a Keanu Reeves sci-fi movie that got zero advertising.
Okay.
The classic Ben Affleck comedy Geely.
Oh God! Whoa! I remember that.
Uh-huh. Geely crashed and burned.
Geely that not only wrecked a career, it wrecked a marriage.
The reissue of the Phantom Menace. So not the Phantom Menace, the reissue of the Phantom Menace did well week 1, crashed week 2. And then One Piece animated movie, and then you have the Joker.
Wow.
So yeah, it is. It's bad.
I like the theory that after the first movie turned Joker into a poster boy hero for incels, the sequel made those fans the villain.
That's not a theory. Like from what I've read of the reviews, that is the text of the movie. The movie is specifically about how, hey, did you think this guy was a hero? You're wrong. You're wrong. He's bad. He's dumb. And you're bad and dumb for liking him.
Well, if they're incels, yeah. Possibly it's not a bad thing. Possibly he's done the world a favor.
But also, everything else about the movie's bad too.
True.
Anyways.
Well, so you're not going to go see it?
No, I'm not. No, I have no interest.
You're going to go see Megalopolis?
And I'll wait for it to come out on video.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about seeing that on the giant screen, and it's just, man, it was.
You could see it. I did see The Substance, and I was kind of disappointed by The Substance.
See, we've been meaning to go see The Substance for quite some time, but
it's okay. You have to go in, and it's good to know going in that it is a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It is not grounded in reality. All the like side characters are all just like a little too weird, and the movie is like very weirdly small scale. It's the kind of movie where I wish that it has a sequel, because I think it would be cool to see The Substance like picked up by the mainstream of like, oh yeah, everyone is using The Substance. It's the hot new way to stay young. But instead it's no, here's one person using The Substance, and it's like a secret thing. Nobody knows about it. It's just weirdly small.
There is a Netflix. It's a movie on Netflix, I want to say, or another movie out that's similar to that, but it's everybody goes through this, at a certain age, everybody goes through this procedure that makes you beautiful.
I think I know what you're talking
Even
about.
at a certain age, it's like a rite of passage, and it turns out that it does more than that. And I forget the name of it. I watched
Is it Uglies?
Uglies. That's it, Uglies. Yeah, it's kind of like The Substance. And I think it wasn't a bad movie at all for I don't it wasn't a series, I don't think. It was
No, it was just a movie.
It's a Netflix movie. It's really quite good. So, it'd be interesting now that you've seen The Substance is to see Uglies and then compare contrast.
Okay.
Uh,
There's probably less nudity in Uglies.
yes. There's in fact, I don't think there's any nudity in Uglies.
Probably not. It's a YA movie from what I remember, right?
Yeah, I think it is. It's probably it definitely skews that direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it was a giant distraction and a tangent that we went off on. What you got next?
Okay, let's just completely hardcore go in the other direction. You want to talk about some Nintendo hardware? Nintendo announced their new hardware.
Oh, the alarm clock that doesn't work if you actually talk about incels. It doesn't work if you actually live with somebody.
So Nintendo announced Alarmo, which also the
Our
name,
name is great. Are you kidding?
the name feels like we spent $1 million, you know, testing 100 different names.
It came out with Alarmo.
Alarmo. But so what Alarmo does, it's an alarm clock. And when it hits the alarm time, it starts playing Nintendo music. Maybe it's Nintendo music from Mario, from Splatoon, from Zelda, classic franchises. Um, but it's got like a camera that's watching you as you sleep. Maybe not camera. They specified it's not a camera. It's not watching you. It's just sensors. It's a motion sensor. Yeah, that's the music that you'll wake up to.
Yes, hold on a second. Let me put it on there so that you can see it. All right, so here is Alarmo.
Yeah. So it does this Nintendo
This
music
is
as
an
you wake up.
sound clock, Alarmo.
If you
an
move,
interactive alarm clock
it has a
that's
motion
proud of you.
sensor that will make Nintendo sounds when you shift around in bed. So like
Right.
has you kind of going, you've got the Mario coin sounds. And when you get up out of bed, when you actually stand up, it turns itself off because it senses that you're
Do
now
you hear
standing.
that? The alarm is going off. But Alarmo doesn't just play music to start your day.
Not playing.
No
That's
one,
right.
no one,
It responds
just like
to your body's movement with game sounds.
no one is that slow to react
Like
when
here,
that
with the
noise
sound of
is on.
coins from
No,
Super
fuck
Mario
no.
Odyssey.
And I would not wake up looking like that and relax. I would be like sitting straight up going, "What the fuck?"
Or here,
Oh, goddamn it, Alarmo, turn off.
Right. There would be me on
with the sound of ink
that
splats from
across the
Splatoon
room.
3.
Oh,
Okay.
it's so annoying. Oh my god, no. So, but apparently it does not. If you actually have somebody that is sleeping with you, like you've got a wife or a husband and a partner
Mhm.
in bed with you, it doesn't turn off when you get up
Yeah,
because
because
it detects the other person in the bed.
that's the
Just
big
keeps going.
flaw with it. It's got a motion sensor, but that motion sensor can be tricked by another person.
Right. Right.
And it's like, well, who?
It is an alarm clock for single people that ensures that you
Mhm.
will remain single.
Nobody wants to wake up to that sound.
Nobody wants to wake up to that.
But you know
Oh,
what? Part of me, and like I said, does the company want to make a bad financial decision that benefits me? This doesn't really benefit me, but I do like seeing Nintendo make weird shit.
mhm.
Like they made the Ring Fit, that was actually pretty cool. They made that like cardboard thing where
Yeah,
like you could do some switch. It's like a switch game, but you had to like build cardboard things out of it. Like that was a cool
right.
idea. They didn't do much with it afterwards, but it was a neat idea. You got like the Wii balance board, all the weird Wii shit. Like
Yeah,
I like seeing Nintendo.
there's amiibos.
Yeah, oh yeah, amiibos. I like seeing Nintendo make weird shit.
This
This
is
is this is some weird shit.
this is some very
So
weird shit. I almost kinda want one just so I never touch it or open it. What?
AC Wraith has the best idea. The clock should come with a light gun you keep under your pillow so you can shoot it to turn it off.
Oh, that is genius.
That
Oh my god.
I
Eighth
love that
grade,
idea.
you turned that idea from a loser to a winner right there with one idea. You are a genius. Nintendo, we want the patent on that. You know, you and I should make the patent on that right now, and then if they make it, then we get to sue Nintendo for patent
Oh,
infringement.
turnabout's fair play,
Yeah,
Nintendo.
and we should hand the patent over to whichever company they're suing this week. We should hand it over to the Pal World guys.
Just say, hey, we have this patent, but now it's yours, so
Right.
you can
Patent
countersue.
for a light gun to shoot an alarm clock. You're welcome. All right.
Yeah, it's Alarmo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's bad, but it's also good. It's bad good. It's good.
It's dumb and goofy
It's
and
bad.
like it doesn't really harm anyone because
He
like
says,
what you
"So
can
much of
just
this
don't
could have
buy.
been an app with camera
Excuse
access.
me.
All of it could have been an app with camera access, but that's not the point. It needed
Yes.
to be an alarm clock so that you could give it to people for Christmas." Oh, incidentally, I bought Nick, I already bought your Christmas present.
Oh God. Oh God.
And
Look.
and it's not coming from the Ukraine. It is not
Okay.
it's nowhere near what I gave you last time.
Oh, good.
All right. So let's see. My next item is okay. So remember last week we were talking about how the California had this new law
Oh
that
yeah.
going into
I
effect about being clear about whether you were purchasing a license for something or actually purchasing the thing.
Yes. I think I talked about this some when you were gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Steam change.
Steam did have actually ahead of this law, the law hasn't gone into effect yet, but ahead of the law, Steam has actually put up a banner now that says it's only a license. So that's hilarious. Also, equally as hilarious is that, of course, GOG is taking the piss out of everybody. Let me see if I can pull it up. Stand by.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I'm curious how the more PC focused folks that listen to GameHounds take this because I thought that fans of Steam are generally pretty trusting of Valve,
mhm,
and I think this would kind of push against that trust of Valve saying, "Yeah, you don't actually own any of these games on our platform. We know that you think you do. Turns out you don't."
right.
And how will that impact the user's feeling towards Valve um, versus something like GOG, which says, "Oh, you actually do own these games."
Right. Right. Hold on a second. I have made it my computer is now doing strange things and slowing the hell down. I don't know if I'm even slowing down on your screen.
Mm-mm.
Okay, there we go. Found it. And I was hoping to get rid of that little banner at the bottom, but I guess I can't. So, and we will go back to you and bring this up. So yeah, GOG has posted a tweet this week that said, as they have been the entire time, taking the piss out of people. They said, since checkout banners are trending, we're thinking of putting up one up for ourselves. Thoughts on this one? And their banner says, a purchase of a digital product on GOG grants you its offline installers, which cannot be taken away from you. So yeah, they're absolutely dancing on this. They're kicking everybody while they're down, which is good. But yeah,
As they should be. And part of me sees this and goes, maybe I should create like a vast library of GOG games. Maybe I shouldn't buy anything on Steam. Maybe I should buy it all on GOG.
maybe you
If
should.
if I want like a backup emulator device, if I want to get a Steam Deck and use that as like a PS 360 era emulator, or
Mhm.
just like at that point it's not really an emulator, it's just a
Right,
device.
right.
Maybe I should buy everything on GOG.
I would imagine AC Wraith is jumping up and down right now. There's a GOG checkout banner. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would imagine AC Wraith and a lot of other people are agreeing with you right now. You absolutely should. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that idea either because I do buy everything on Steam and it is everything on Steam that I don't own, which is terrifying to me now. GOG just is now making more sense to me. And that should right there terrify Steam.
Yeah.
Right. And it should make them maybe consider not selling licenses anymore. Maybe they just shall sell the game for slightly more.
Yeah. Like you could do that.
Right. The Steam Pass Unlimited. Steam Pass Ultimate. All right.
I
Your next item.
just random. I finished downloading every PS4 game to the external hard drive that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't take up as much space as I thought it would.
Oh, really?
I had an 8 terabyte drive. All the PS4 games that I had bought on PSN only took up 3.7.
Oh, really? So you have a lot of
Yeah.
first.
I am reminded that that's because I bought a lot of PS4 games on disc. So like
True.
that doesn't include any of the Assassin's Creed games
Mm-hmm.
because I had all those on disc. So I'd have to rebuy those digitally to download them. Doesn't include like any of Mass Effect. Doesn't include a lot of AAA games because I bought a lot of those on disc.
Yeah, all of them. I mean, the only thing I would be downloading would be my game saves.
Yeah, those are automatically done. Those are
Right.
all on the console.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I would want to put those somewhere safe because, I would want to make sure that that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else? I'm sure you got more news.
Yes. The secret online test. Oh yeah. In nice happy news, Metaphor has apparently sold pretty well.
Mhm.
So
I'm saying is that it got a lot of attention because it sold so much so fast.
yeah, million units day one, which is a record for any Atlas game. I think the last highest was the Persona 3 remake, which did
Mhm.
800,000 units day one. And this is higher.
Yeah. And it's, from what I hear, well earned.
Yeah, like I said, I really loved what I played initially. I would like to get more into it. A little intimidated by a 100+ hour playtime, but
Yep.
I'll find a way.
Okay, my last item is good news for AC Wraith. Halo Infinite
Hmm.
is getting a third person mode, or so it appears. 343 Industries announced this week that they're going to be adding a third person mode to Halo Infinite. And they showed a short trailer, Let Me Get. And they did this on X, so I have to kind of go back to this. I should have pulled up a second screen, but I didn't. I just got lazy, and now I'm suffering for it. All right, so here is the trailer that they showed of third person for Halo, which, I mean, it's weird, especially if you played Halo a lot of the time, but I guess that you can switch back and forth from first person depending on, like this, to aim down sights.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of the guns in Halo automatically put you into third person mode anyways.
Right.
Yeah,
So
like whenever you picked up the flag, it went to third person. Whenever you picked up a
the
heavy machine
sledgehammer.
gun, the hammer.
Yeah, so that is kind of cool. It means that maybe for the first time ever, AC Wraith will be able to play Halo because it's actually going to be in a third person and won't be inducing him to nausea.
That's nice.
Let's see.
Open it up to more people.
Now that footage that you're seeing right now, they did make a point of saying that this is a work in progress, but it does look pretty finished for a work in progress. Or maybe that's just me. And you can apparently switch out third and first person as you like. So the reactions to this have been anywhere from what I anticipate AC Wraith is to finally, I have a choice, to other people saying, "Hell no, you're messing with Halo. This is all wrong, and we're purists, and Halo should never, ever, ever, ever be changed because Halo. How dare you touch our Halo?"
Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my last item.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. You?
The last item I have is actually one that I didn't talk about last week, so it's definitely a bit old.
Mm-hmm.
Saber Interactive, the developer behind Space Marines 2, is teaming with Paramount for a big budget Avatar game. And this is the Airbender Avatar, not the James Cameron Avatar.
Right.
Which it's you have to okay. It's a little weird to me that this year is like feels like the year when a lot of companies are trying to push Avatar: The Last Airbender has like a big multimedia property. You've got the Netflix show that came out, and you've got like this game announcement. And part of me thinks it's a little late. Like the Avatar
That
kind
should
of
have happened 10 years ago.
ran its course a
It
while
did.
ago.
It did.
But then I wonder, is this the equivalent of like someone announcing, um, we're gonna revive some 80s franchise, right?
Right.
Oh,
This is
we're gonna
retro cool.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, there's
nostalgia.
like we're gonna make a new Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You haven't made one of those in like a decade.
Right.
Or like, oh shoot, what's another old series that they're doing? Like Ghostbusters, right? They're gonna
Right.
we're gonna make another Ghostbusters movie. It's like, why?
Why?
And but like at least this is an adaptation from an IP that was birthed in the aughts, right? This
Yeah.
is this is not some 80s IP that is getting dug out of the grave. This what kind of
Hey, I resent that. Not all of us 80s people are dead yet. We just smell that way.
I don't mean you're dead. I mean that the IPs, the entertainment that you watched, it should be dead. We we
Oh,
we shouldn't have another Terminator movie. I love Alien. Alien Romulus was good. We don't need another Alien movie. Come up with something new. We don't need another Predator movie. We don't need all this. We don't need more Ghostbusters. Fuck the Ghostbusters.
okay. Star Wars?
Oh, absolutely fuck Star Wars.
Okay.
But like we don't need another Transformers movie. We don't need another
We
GI
definitely
Joe
don't need it.
movie.
No.
Um yeah, I think there's a Masters of the Universe. I think there's a He-Man movie coming out like next
Barbie
year.
movie?
Barbie did not have a movie before Margot Robbie. So
Mhm.
that's okay. But like part of, so yeah, I just was like weirdly conflicted about this announcement, thinking like, isn't
It would be a
Avatar?
bit like having a Ferris Bueller movie right now.
Yes.
Yeah, which
Well,
would be I would absolutely go see Ferris Bueller: The Next Generation. I absolutely where it's like, this is Ferris Bueller's grandson.
no, but see, it's also not quite that because Ferris Bueller, another 80s movie.
Yeah,
Right. This
right?
is like, oh, what's something that came out in the 90s? What is an
Rugrats.
actual this is like a Rugrats announcement, which
Mhm.
for me
Or
feels
Hey
like
Arnold announcement.
yes, that's good. Like for me, it feels like, oh, you're kind of late with this.
Yeah,
But I imagine
but I'm kinda curious.
someone that grew up with those was like, oh, this is now hitting me right in the nostalgia. It's like
Mhm.
we've gotten to the point, it feels like a company is finally aiming at the nostalgia of non-80s generation people,
That
which
moment
which
when
is good.
when you turn on the television and there is a car commercial aimed at you that the music was the theme to your high school prom. That then they're
Yeah.
trying to sell you that car because they know you love that song. They know you'll stop because you'll be like, "Oh my god, I love that song. Oh, they're using it to sell a car, but that's kind of a nice car." All right, so yeah, I'm not angry about this. I liked the Airbender. I absolutely watched this, like Samurai Jack. Oh god, I love
Oh, oh, this
love
is
Samurai
like if someone announced a video game of the Fifth Element,
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I would absolutely
right?
watch that.
It's like
Yeah.
on one hand, you would think like, boy, this seems kind of late. Why now? But
Mhm.
it's like this is reviving a 90s franchise the same way we spent the past 20
Mhm.
years reviving 80s
Right.
franchises. Okay, there's been a lot of Starship Troopers, Men in Black. Hasn't been a lot of Men in Black. Ooh, this is what we need is a new
Die Hard,
Speed
like
movie.
a Die Hard video game.
Yeah, except Die Hard has ran itself into the ground already.
That's true. They did kind of do that
Deep
pretty bad.
Rising. Oh no, shit! You know what this is? We
Mhm.
already have an example of this. This is Twister. This
Oh,
is Twister getting a sequel.
cool. Yes, very much so. And Twister wasn't a bad movie. Twisters, I guess, isn't a bad movie. I kind
No,
of
I
enjoyed
saw
it.
I saw Twisters.
Yeah,
Twisters was good.
I saw it too. It was pretty good.
Oh,
Um,
you know what we need? We need a legacy sequel to Seven.
what was 7 again? I don't remember that.
Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah.
What's in
Yeah.
the box?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, that would be your last item. Anything else
Yeah.
before
No,
we
I've just been ranting about movies. I'm done.
Yeah, I got nothing else. I'm really very much thinking of getting that Amazon Fire TV stick because I am very much craving games, but I very much this is this is one of those moments of a person's life as a significant other of someone that you're not living with slash married to, where you have to make a decision of what do you want to do with your console. And I'm not quite ready. Like, I will bring over my clothes, no problem.
Mhm.
I will have a drawer full of my makeup. Absolutely, because I could walk away from that and be like, "That sucked," but I could live without. I could buy more makeup. Don't know that I wanna bring over my PlayStation, my PS5. I don't wanna do that, and I don't wanna bring my Xbox.
I
I
I think
don't really quite wanna settle that's kind of for me, that that intimates permanence that I don't necessarily want to be having.
that's setting roots down.
That's setting roots that I don't want set.
Well, I think me and AC Wraith are probably thinking the same thing. Don't you have a device?
Yes, yes, I do. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. I have no idea. It could have been stolen. I don't know. It's somewhere, I'm sure.
That would Finding that would solve your problem.
No, it really wouldn't. I would still want to be playing a lot of these games with not on that screen.
I Sure, but like you could play them, right? It would be an option.
Yeah,
And
maybe,
you
maybe.
wouldn't have to
Like, if
fight
I was
anyone else for the
wait,
TV.
no, but see, if I would wanna play it on t and I really kinda wanna play on a TV. I kinda wanna sit in front of a TV on a couch like I do at my place and play something.
Okay.
And I kinda wanna settle in for a night o gaming, you know, that I haven't done in a since April,
You
which
got
is
to
kind
get one of those VR headsets that just lets you play a game and you'll just like
of
sit down and watch it on like an 80-inch TV
mm,
in the VR.
I don't know. No, see, Fire Stick, that's kind of like that's as close as I wanna come.
Okay. I mean, that's also a good alternative too.
Yeah. And I mean, I have a controller in my car right now that I could pull out and I could play something on the laptop, but it's still
Well,
not the same
also,
as
wait,
sitting on a couch, beer in one
Chris
hand and controller.
Chris has consoles, right?
He has a Switch.
He doesn't have an Xbox or PlayStation?
He has a 360. Sorry, yes, 360.
The dude makes games.
PC.
Okay,
He's
never
PC.
mind.
He's PC.
Oh, he's one of those weirdos.
Yeah.
PC gamers. I'll bet he complains about PSN requirements.
No, he doesn't actually because he doesn't really play that much.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I was thinking that if he had a
it's the same
console,
reason when I was a movie critic, the last thing I wanted to do was go out to a movie on a weekend because
mm,
it's all I did all week was movie after movie after movie. And Friday night, it was like, I want to watch some TV. I want to go out. I want to go to the theater. I want to do anything but sitting in a movie theater right now, because you can't watch a movie just for pure enjoyment. You're
always on.
always on. You're always thinking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
I was
like,
thinking that if he had a console, you could just sign into that console, and that would
yeah,
kind
he
of
had a console.
solve it right
Absolutely.
there. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
That if
that
he had a console, I would absolutely be signing into that and absolutely be playing, but he doesn't have either one of them.
what if you got him an Xbox or PlayStation for Christmas? Say, here's a console for you.
It's a bit
I might
it's
use it, but
it's a
it's
bit
for you.
like giving him a bowling ball with Homer written on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm aware of that, and that has occurred to me, but then there's also the bowling ball with the Homer written on it that I feel a little guilty about. Like, your first Christmas, do you really wanna do that your first Christmas? 'Cause that's the mark you're gonna be leaving.
That's a second Christmas thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a Christmas weighed in so that somebody could go, "Hey, I know what you did there." So, anyway, alright.
Okay, well, before we leave,
Yes.
AC Wraith asked about Hellraiser or Slither group watch.
Let's do Hellraiser. Look at my calendar here. Looking at the calendar. All right, so next weekend on Saturday is the 26th.
Yes.
Do I have anything going on the 26th? Oh, I do have I get my hair done at 3:30, which will take probably until 6 or 7:30. So yeah, we could do that.
Like 7:30 on Saturday?
Actually, let's do it. Yeah, 7:30 on Saturday. Let's leave it. Yeah, and then what's the week after that? That's the second, so it has to be next Saturday. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
so
we could do it on Halloween or on the day before Halloween, but that's right in the middle of the week.
right, exactly. Halloween is Thursday,
Yeah.
and actually that might be a fun day. Well, first off, we wouldn't want to do that because either at my house or here it is going to be nonstop doorbells the entire time.
Oh, that's cool. They actually get trick-or-treaters.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that it is insane here, and then Point Richmond gets trick-or-treaters just it's insane there because everybody from Richmond comes to Point Richmond for it, and I happen to be 1 block off of downtown, so I'm not up on the hill. Like, up on the hill, a lot of people don't take their kids up on the hill because it's dark and it's hilly and there's no sidewalks. I live a block off of downtown and there's sidewalks and it's well lit and the
All
houses are
good
right next
things.
to each other, which means that it's just all night long like that. But Thursday, this October 31st might be fun because that morning I am having my colonoscopy. And I'm doing it. Oh, fun fact. One of the Because I am single and have no one that can pick you up, I am doing it wide awake.
Hmm.
I am going to be awake for my colonoscopy. I'm gonna be, they're gonna give me a,
Yeah, like they
I'm
still
not gonna
drug
feel
you
it.
up.
Oh yeah, they're gonna dope me up a good, but I'm
Hmm.
gonna be wide awake.
Hmm. Should be fun.
I'm not looking forward to it. I do not want to be awake for this at all, but it allows me to be able to take an Uber home because you can't take an Uber. If you they won't release you to an Uber after you've been under general anesthesia.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I have to do it awake, and I'm not going to be very good mood about it. So maybe that might be a good thing for that night. Might be a bad thing.
You're
He says
you're
your
just
hair will be ready just in time to stand on an eternal gray. Yeah, true. Anyway, we should close this out now. All right, so
so yeah,
let's.
so far the
I'll keep
scheduled Hellraiser Saturday at 7:30. Yeah, I asked because like AC said, I haven't seen trick-or-treaters in ages. I missed the costume parade. Then I feel like a creep cruising social media for kid pics that shouldn't be posted in the
Yeah.
first place.
We actually have a costume parade that morning that goes from the grade school all the way through town. So it's
That's
actually literally a costume parade that
that's
I was
awesome.
in when I was a little kid. I remember being in that parade when I was a child,
That's really
which is
cool.
really fun to see and know, and like not only remember doing it, but I have pictures of me in that parade when I
Oh,
was a child. So, I mean, that's how long it's been going on. Like 50, at least 50 years. So,
yeah. The moment I moved out of my parents' house and started living in apartments, trick or treating kind of disappeared
yeah,
from my life. And it's like, oh, good to see that it's
yep,
still going strong.
yep.
I'm
All
glad.
right. So, let's close this out. Stand by, and the close out music is here. You've been listening to GameHounds, GameHounds episode 731. We recorded this on Sunday, October 13th, 2024. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nikki Nicola. Ways to get a hold of us is gamehounds.net. Gamehounds at gmail.com is our email. We record the show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern here on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/gamehounds. On YouTube, we are Gamehounds Vids, VIDS, all one word. And on Twitch, we are the Gamehounds. Please feel free to join us next week live. Thank you to everyone who was in the chat room. And of course, thank you so much to AC Wraith, because he is our community manager and he has all of the links of everything that we talk about. He's the one that puts it in the description. If there's any leak or anything you wanted more information about, go into the chat for wherever you're watching it. That's where that information is going to be. He's going to provide you a link. We are 100% Patreon funded. Patreon.com/gamehounds. That is where you can send us $1 a month. That's all we ask in order to fund our show and to cover some of the expenses, some subscriptions that we need in order to do the show. And of course, our Discord. There's our Discord information right there. Please join our Discord if you'd like to have access to us, ask us questions, of course, to find out information of when we might be doing our joint watches or when one of us might be streaming. That is where you're going to find it on Discord. Have a great week, everyone. We will talk to you next week. And of course, I will provide the information of when and where we're going to be watching one of those horror movies next week in our Discord channel. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Bye-bye. All right. We are out, and I have to go because I'm about to be violently ill again.
Okay.
Yay
You should
me.
take care of that.
I should absolutely take care of that and not do that here. So I will talk to you later. And again, yes, AC Wraith, I will let you know when and where. I just can't think of it right now because my brain is doing other things. It is doing other things. So have a great week, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.